Sorry, I'm running a bit late. That was a good start to the show, wasn't it? Yes, welcome to my match reaction of yet another defeat for Liverpool Football Club. Um, yeah, um, yeah, pretty rubbish to be completely honest. I'll speak about the match in a minute, but first I have some breaking news to give you. So, seeing as we are now out of the competition, I think this is the earliest we've actually been out of the League Cup for probably since the last World Cup, I would have thought. The draw has just happened for the League Cup, so I'll just read it out to you. Newcastle United versus Fulham, Manchester City versus Brentford, Cardiff City versus Chelsea, and if you want to feel a little bit better about yourselves this evening, poor Crystal Palace, Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. I actually that actually does make me feel slightly better. But what that says about Liverpool Football Club at the minute, I don't really know, to be honest. Because had we got through playing Arsenal at the minute, could have been. I mean, that was semi-embarrassing tonight. That could have been hugely embarrassing had we got Arsenal. Because at the moment, if we were to play Arsenal, I mean, you are talking. I mean, 3-0. When I saw the lineup, I actually said to a couple of people, I think I'd take 3-0, to be completely honest. And I know that sounds really, really, really bad. But yeah, I mean, if we'd got through, I mean, Christ Almighty, I dread to think. So, looking at that draw, just before I get into the Liverpool stuff, you'd imagine Newcastle would beat Fulham, Manchester City should beat Brentford. You would hope, you would hope, but you would imagine they'd beat them. Cardiff versus Chelsea, obviously Chelsea will win that, and then Arsenal Palace is probably the hardest, but again, at home, Arsenal need a trophy, and I actually have a feeling it could be Arsenal finally to get that trophy over the line. I mean, obviously they're well positioned in the Premier League now. Got to be one of the favourites for the Champions League, you'd imagine. FA Cup, maybe. I mean, this could be the season for Arsenal where finally everything clicks, and it's looking very good for the minute, you have to say. So you'd expect Arsenal to get through. So I've been working on that knowledge. What you're talking? What Newcastle, Man City, Chelsea, and Arsenal? I mean, funnily enough, I think the only team that could actually beat Arsenal out of that lot is probably Newcastle, to be completely honest. Yeah. Anyway, you are here for Liverpool. God bless you, anyone who's actually watching. I can't imagine I'm going to get many new subscribers this evening, or indeed people watching. But yes, welcome to the show. Basically, I'll do the usual spiel. This live stream will be on YouTube podcasts, and it will be on YouTube, obviously, video. I'd imagine it's going to get processed a damn sight quicker than most of my videos, because I would suspect I'm probably going to be on for all of about 15 minutes this evening, because we've just lost. I think that was match. I'm starting to. That's the really bad thing, folks. I'm actually starting to lose count of how many matches we've lost. I think it's 6 matches out of the last 7. Obviously, there's reasons for the match this evening, and it's very much divided the supporter base. There are people who can understand the selection, and there are people that think it's criminal. I've got a 3rd position. I'm probably somewhere in the middle of that, because I like winning trophies as a Liverpool fan, and look, I'm not the most ambitious guy in the world. I will happily take a 3rd place finish in the Premier League and a League Cup or an FA Cup. I know people are like, oh, it's the Champions League and stuff. Look, to me, I'm old. A trophy is a trophy is a trophy. Obviously, you want to win the league or the Champions League, but to be honest, if you sit me down in May and say, Leon, here's an FA Cup, and here is a 3rd place finish gets you in the Champions League, and if I'm sat in a sunny beer garden in Headingley, I'm going, you know what, I'm pretty happy with that, that'll do me. Obviously, that's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but the point is Liverpool cannot afford to be throwing trophy chances away, and that was their easiest route. Now, granted, look, it looks like we would have just got Arsenal, so obviously that then became very, very difficult. Do we beat Arsenal at Anfield? I'd still back us playing on form. Do we beat Arsenal at the Emirates playing because we are at the minute? I mean, that could have been hugely, hugely embarrassing to say the least. But yeah, here we go. Swig of water for the working man. Right, so I'll get into the comments in a minute, folks. So just talk amongst yourselves for a sec. So, obviously, at the start of the evening, I'd pretty much accepted that we'd lost when I saw the team coming out. Let me just adjust this because I'm totally unprepared. Yeah, no, I mean, I saw the team come out. I think my issue with what's happened this evening is when I saw the team come out, I was like, do you know what the team actually? I'm not sure about Calvin Ramsey after not playing for Liverpool for 3,000 years, but still. Take Ramsey out. Maybe Morrison, who didn't do anything wrong, it was nothing to do with him. He's a young lad at the end of the day. There's no blame on his shoulders whatsoever. And fair play to him, he's now played for Liverpool Football Club in a competitive match. So congratulations to Kieran. Hopefully he'll have to go on to have a good career. I thought he looked decent-ish, to be honest. Didn't have an awful lot go his way, but yeah, he seems like a decent enough player from what I've briefly seen. I think for me, if we'd had, let's say, Bradley instead of Ramsey, and I don't know, let's say Ekitike for Rio, and they'd played Morrison and Chiesa, I think I would have been like, do you know what? I'm reasonably happy with that because I was quite happy with Unioni and Endo and McAllister for a makeshift midfield. I mean, bearing in mind the injuries we've got, I thought that's all right. My concern, and I will just temper this with the injuries. So obviously, I wouldn't say we've got boatloads of injuries. We're not Arsenal at the end of the day. Let's see what I did there. But obviously, to be fair to Arne, he is missing Allison, Jeremy Frimpong, Giovanni Leone, Curtis Jones. I'm missing someone. Alexander Isak and Ryan Gravenberg. I mean, look, that's going to hit anyone, basically. I suspect, actually, that Ryan Gravenberg, I don't know if there was an update given, I think Ryan Gravenberg is actually secretly fit, is my weird thoughts on it. I think he might be on the bench for Villa, and I think Slot wants Gravenberg prime for Real Madrid and Man City. So to be fair to the gaffer, I will be fair to him. I think he has a very difficult selection to make this evening. Obviously, if I'd gone to the match, and I'll tell you a funny story about that in a minute, I don't think I would have been thrilled, especially if I paid hundreds of pounds to take parents taking the couple of kids. You buy you buy a home strip, you buy food and this, that, and the other. And you're talking, as I found over the years following the Reds, you could well go through like £400-500. And if I'd seen what I'd seen this evening, I wouldn't be best pleased walking away from the ground at this precise moment. To be fair to the manager, given the injuries and given that we have to play Aston Villa, Real Madrid, and Manchester City in the space of 8 days, I can understand where Arna's coming from. Personally, for me, I know people will disagree with that, and it's not going to go down well, but I can kind of understand where he's coming from. I don't like people playing understrength sides in leagues. In cups, because I'm old school. I want Liverpool to win everything basically, and I want them to win the cups, go to Wembley, have a great day out, and have a boss day and win a trophy. I like winning the League Cup. What can I say? The one area that I completely disagree with Slot is the bench. Now, I agree with Arna with the injuries that we've got. if he was to say, right, guys, I'm going to have to, out of the 9 subs, I need to put 5 youngsters in. I haven't got any more wriggle room, so I'm going to put 4 starters, and I'll put up like 5 youth players who won't come on. And I would be saying, well, that's fair enough. So for me, I would have had Gakpo, Salah, possibly Ekatike and Milos Kerkez. Obviously, Milos Kerkez and Ekatike are both extremely young. Gakpo's not exactly an old man, and Mo Salah's got energy to burn still at his age. So I would have basically I would have put them on and just said, right, if we've got a chance with 15 minutes to go, and as it was, we didn't have a chance in any case, but because obviously they went 3-0 up, but my thinking would have been, if we've got to 70 minutes and say Crystal Palace are 2-0 up, which they kind of were before this ended off, I would have basically have just said, right, I'm going to try and put Mo Salah on. If you get a goal back, great. And then literally for the last 5 or 6 minutes, I'll give it a go with Cody and Ekatike. And at the end of the day, if we go out, we go out. And they've just played like 5 or 6 minutes of football. Not a disaster. We move on. I completely disagree with the bench that he put out. I mean, there were literally the player with the most experience, and I think I'm right about this, is Cade Gordon, who's played, I want to say 3 matches for us. Now, bear in mind the last time Cade Gordon played for Liverpool Football Club, I think I'm right in saying was Arsenal away in the League Cups when, God rest his soul, Diogo Jota, I think got both of the goals. He either got 2 goals in the league or 1 goal in the League Cup semi-final. I forget which one it was basically, but Cade Gordon played in that game. Now, if my maths is correct, that would be 3.5 years ago. I want to say Cade's been out on loan to Norwich, Portsmouth and somewhere else, and he's had a couple of big injuries. He's only young himself. I think he came in when he was, I want to say he was about 18 at the time, so Cade Gordon's still only going to be, what, 22? But just to come in for something like that, I mean, look, Liverpool have got previous for this. Obviously, we did that thing with Shrewsbury Town when Klopp threw his toys out of the pram and said, well, I'm not managing, and the first team players are going away. Simple as that. And we managed to get through. Obviously, we had the final when basically Jurgen Klopp was forced to play the baby side, and we still actually beat Chelsea for the League Cup, which was still one of my best ever memories of supporting Liverpool. But, I mean, to play a side like that against a team in form like Crystal Palace, sorry folks, let me just get rid of that nonsense. Thank you. There we go. I mean, I just thought it was hugely naive, and I just didn't agree with Slot on that one. I more or less agreed with the starting 11, but what I'm saying is I just completely disagree. Completely disagree with the bench. I just thought it was I thought it was bizarre not to at least have. I mean, even if it had just been Mo Salah or Hugo Ekatike or Cody Gakpo, it's just like, I know we're stretched, but surely you could have just had one of them on the bench, and that's personally all that I would ask. Maybe you have Florian Wirtz to play midfield, and if we're, I don't know, let's say if Mo theoretically gets a goal back, maybe Florian Wirtz comes on for all of 7 or 8 minutes to try and affect something. That's all that I was asking. But to play that level of bench, I mean, as soon as you saw the team sheet and you saw Palace's, because they went quite strong, I mean, you knew they were going to lose. I mean, to be fair to the lads, obviously they tried the best, but I mean, that team will never play again for Liverpool Football Club. I feel so sorry for Federico Chiesa as well. He's done all this good work, and that's his start as the main man. I mean, with the greatest respect, I mean, what is Chiesa meant to do with that exactly? It was just very, very disappointing. So let me just have a look. I don't know if Mr. Red is on, but hi, Mr. Red. Hey, honestly, I can't keep going on like this. If we don't win against Aston Villa, which right now is very likely, then honestly, I don't even know what's going to happen. I don't know, Mr. Correct, to be honest. Lily Nolan, hi Lily. Hi Lily. Hi, how you doing? Jane Hudson, hi Jane, how you doing? Yeah, no, to be honest, Mystical Red, I don't know if you're on at some point, but you might join. I don't know. I mean, if you'd have told me a month ago that we would lose 6 matches from 7, and there would be, I wouldn't say serious questions asked about the manager, but it's getting to the point where there are semi-serious questions being asked by not all fans, certainly not by me, but by some fans. I mean, I would have laughed in your face. I would have said absolutely no chance. Um, and I get we've had quite a tough fixture list, but I mean, the one thing I would say, I mean, if Liverpool saying tough fixture list, we've got an inform Aston Villa, Real Madrid, who are 5 points clear in La Liga, and Man City at the Etihad, where we basically get um, nat fall every single season. Um, I mean, I think Slot could do with a win, a draw, and a loss. If he gets a win and a draw and a loss, I think most people out of that fixture list, I think basically, for want of a better phrase, let's say for argument's sake, if we beat Villa, which is our best chance of winning, which is unbelievable, um, and let's say if we got a draw against Real Madrid, 7 points in the Champions League, and then let's say for argument's sake, Man City beat us, but it's through a dodgy penalty, or we're down to 9 men and we lose like 2-0. I think most people will be like, well, that's happy enough for that, that's fair enough. My concern now is if he loses 2 and wins 1, if one of them's in the league, I think he's just about okay before the serious questions come. I think if Slot, and I don't want it on Slot to go, I'm just putting it out there. I think he was to lose all 3 matches going into an international break. I mean, the pressure coming back for Nottingham Forest, I think it is, on the 23rd. Bearing in mind this would be, yeah, sorry folks again. Let me just hide this. I keep getting these like weird. By the way, if you're religious, all good, that's fine. But like, I'm not. So, if you are cool, but like, yeah, I'm here to discuss Liverpool. I'm not really interested in your religion or your politics. There's plenty of religious channels you can go on. There's plenty of politics channels you can go on. I know why 1 or 2 of these people are targeting me because of a certain playlist I have on my channel. If you don't like it, I couldn't care less. Jog on. Anyway, what I'm saying is I think if Arna, I think if he was to lose the next 3, as bad as the fixture list is, if he went into the Forest match, and obviously you've got to do the maths in your head now, that's 2 more league losses, which is going to put us roughly 12th, 13th maybe. If we went a goal down to Forest after the international break in whatever it would be, 3 or 4 weeks' time, for argument's sake, I dread to think what that ground's going to be like. Then he would have a very serious problem. Look, hopefully, it won't come to this. Look, if we're all celebrating Liverpool beating Aston Villa 2-0 on Saturday, for argument's sake, which I honestly don't think we will be at the minute, quite frankly. But if we are, I think we'll have a brilliant Saturday night. Pints are going down next. Everyone's happy with life. Blah 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 blah. Job done, and then we worry about Real Madrid. When Real Madrid comes, you get a result against Real Madrid, then you're bouncing into Manchester City. Maybe you get a point from them, and everyone goes, "Do you know what? I'm very happy with that. Job done." And then you go into the international break, beat Forest, build up a little head of steam, beat PSV, and then you go into West Ham, and it could look very different. But like, in terms of defeats, if I had to put a number on it, I mean, I can't believe I'm even having to work this out, to be quite honest, but like in terms of defeats, you're talking Forest, then PSV, then West Ham. I believe we've got Leeds United, then after that it's Brighton and Spurs going into Christmas. I mean, I would hope this wouldn't happen, but I think if Arsenal was to lose 7 or 8 of the next 8 matches, then there would be alarm bells seriously going off, as in seriously, because you try and work it out at that point. I mean, Liverpool would be close to the bottom, and you talking at that stage, we'd be about 10, give or take, we'd be 10 to 11 points off a Champions League spot. I mean, the league's gone, as far as I'm concerned. This is like off a Champions League spot. Who knows at that point? Who knows? Let me just have a look at the comments. Sorry. Hey Finn does WB. How you doing, mate? You're all right. Shocking today. Yep, agreed. Do you want to talk about wrestling instead, Finn? I give up. We ain't getting any better. What players do they not like? Oh, Finn, like I said, I'm not going to say big. It might be nothing, but put it this way. Next time, if you do go on my channel, there's a certain playlist that I get criticism for in terms of a group of people who have my support, who sometimes do not have the support of other people in the world. I'll leave it to your imagination and for you to search out afterwards, and obviously it's a personal choice for everyone, but if it's anything to do with that, which I suspect it could be, I'm not interested in having an argument with anyone about it. It's as simple as that. If you don't like the playlist that I'm on about, then I'm not remotely interested, quite frankly. Let me have a look. Oh, here we go. Raman Doobie. Am I AI? Not as far as I'm aware, dude. No, do I look like an AI? Hang on. Ow, bloody hell. Yeah, no, I think I'm human as far as I know. Raman, thanks for asking. Let's have a look. Travel link sounds like an Arsenal supporter. Oh, no, I'm definitely not an Arsenal supporter, dude. Definitely not an Arsenal supporter. I will support these forever. Only messing, bud. Hope you have a good streak. Yeah, I thought you were a traveller link. Yeah, no, that's fine, dude. I don't mind a bit of banter. That's fine. Not a problem at all. Going back to the match, folks, basically, like I said, so I didn't agree with the bench. I kind of agreed with the starting lineup, I think is what I was getting at. Excuse me. But, I mean, once we went 2-0 down, I mean, basically it was a match over. By the way, does anyone know if Ismail Assar, like, had a trial with Liverpool, or if, like, a Liverpool player in the past ran over his dog or something? Like, he seems to have huge vendetta against us. Honestly, every single time we play the bloke he scores against us, I think someone on comms said earlier, I think he scored 9 goals in, I don't know, 7 matches against us or something daft like that. Whether he's had a bad experience with Liverpool in the past, honestly, I do not know. I really don't. But yeah, no, I mean, to be fair, Sarr took his goals well, and then you go into half time. I mean, it's like, well, you can't change it. I mean, to be honest, I kind of thought to myself when it was 2-0 down, especially when it was 3-0, I was just like, well, to be honest, you might as well just change every single position, to be honest. I was just like, well, is there much point in keeping Robbo on? Probably not. Get McAllister off, get him ready for the weekend, get, who else did we have? You can keep Endo on. It's good experience for Trainioni. I do think Trainioni's going to be good, by the way. Maybe you take, I mean, that's the thing, it's not anymore. You could maybe take Kirkes off, and just, you might as well have just played Resi side, to be honest. I mean, that's the thing that's kind of annoyed me. Anything else there is, it's like, if you're going to make that amount of changes, you might as well just play the under-21s fully, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I really do not know. All I know is there is massive pressure on that Aston Villa game. Let me put it this way, like, the minimum requirement is a draw. Now, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but we've just lost 4. We've just lost 4 league games on the bounce. I think, to be quite frank, if someone was to offer me a 1-1 draw against Aston Villa, and I can't believe I'm saying this at home, I think I'd actually be tempted to deal and take it, because we can't lose 5. Because that's ridiculous, because then you're going into Manchester City. We are not getting anything from Manchester City, simple as that. That's 6 on the bounce, and then you've also got Real Madrid thrown in there. I mean, the way Madrid are playing at the minute, I've seen them a few times, and I mean, they were toying with Barca at the weekend to a certain extent in some of the match. Not all of it, because Barca played okay, but I mean, the point is, I mean, they deserve to beat Barcelona, and then like, I'd probably politely suggest Barcelona is some way ahead of us in form at the minute, to be honest. So, yeah, um, yeah, try to stay positive, but I mean, it's very difficult to stay positive in these circumstances. I mean, it's not my worst run as a fan. My worst run as a fan will always be 1993 when we were literally. I mean, there was a stage. I mean, we were losing every single game. I think we had some sort of ridiculous record in 1993 before sort of March where we'd lost. I could be wrong, but something ridiculous like 15 games out of 21 or something along those lines. I mean, it was hideous, absolutely hideous. We had the Gillette and Hicks season, obviously, when we lost twice to Blackpool. And there was a point where Jermaine Beckford, who played for Everton at the time, scored at the Cop End. In fact, no, he scored at the Abbey Road. And I think, I could be wrong about this, but I think had we lost that game in the Merseyside Derbies, this is like 2010 or whatever it was, I think we would have been 2 points off the bottom three. So this run is still not anywhere near. Obviously, we had the fiasco in the COVID season where we lost 6 home matches on the bounce in the space of like, I don't know, like 7 weeks or something daft like that. So it's not as horrendous as that yet, but it's getting to the stage, it's getting very close to being that sort of run. So, like I said, no general blame attached to any of the players. I mean, I just don't think that there's much else they could have done. I mean, how many days have they been training on that? I mean, what, a day with players who aren't even usually in the squad? I mean, Calvin Ramsey. I mean, that's no offense to Calvin. I know he's still I know he's still only a young man, and it's not his fault. Obviously, he's had loads of injuries. His career's not gone the way he was expecting. Blah 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 blah. So no disrespect to Calvin Ramsey whatsoever, but I mean, he should be nowhere near Liverpool's first 30 players, let alone the actual team. I mean, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that he was there. I mean, I know Arnold was hamstrung, pardon the pun, to a certain extent, because obviously Bradley's in and out with fitness, and now that Frimpong's out for, I mean, I'd imagine he's not going to be back. I don't think Frimpong's going to be back till December, to be honest. So if he then loses Bradley, I mean, obviously then Sobbo would have to go to right back. There would be no other choice for like 5 or 6 weeks, and then you lose Sobbo for the engine room. And at the moment, you cannot have Dominic Szoboszlai playing. I mean, the only other thing I can think of really is move Joe Gomez to right, because obviously he can play right back and left back. I mean, not so much left back, obviously, but I've seen him do it in the past. But I think Joe Gomez, if Bradley goes down, will have to start at right back, and then you'd have to put Szoboszlai in central midfield, because at the moment you cannot start without that man. Obviously, we've lost Curtis Jones as well. So, like I said, it's just one of these very difficult situations. I can totally see where Arna's coming from. He still thinks he can win the Premier League. I don't. I don't think there's a remote chance of us winning the Premier League, quite honestly. And he still wants to win the Champions League as a manager, and fair play to him. But I don't think we'll win either. I mean, our best chance now of winning is the FA Cup, and like our record in the FA Cup since I've been a fan is hideous. I think we've won it 4 times in 36 years since I've been a fan. So yeah, I mean, yeah. And the last thing, obviously, on the match, I don't want to talk about the match too much, to be honest. I'm sure you guys don't either, but the Ahmed Nallo thing, look, I don't want to be that guy, so I need to choose my words carefully here. He was very unlucky to get sent off against PSV. I mean, he wasn't unlucky, obviously, it was just blatant foul. Like, he ended up kicking, who was it, the PSV guy in a very unfortunate male position, shall we say, after like 3 minutes, and he's been done again tonight, and he's been sent off. So he's I've never heard of a player that's played 2 matches for Liverpool and been sent off in his first game and his second. So Rob Page, our under-21 manager, I think is going to have to do a bit of a job on that lad tomorrow. They need to get him in and have a serious word, because I mean that you are talking that can that could, what am I trying to say? That could impact his entire career. I mean, he's obviously not going to play for Liverpool long term, but just for his, I don't want to go about mental health and being woke, but I mean, at that age, if you've had two sendings off before the age of, I'm guessing he's 19 years of age. I mean, it ain't helpful, to be fair. So, whether he can recover a Liverpool career, I would have very, very serious doubts. I mean, like I said, it's not the lad's fault. We were going to lose that match anyway. It was simple as that. But I think Rob Page, our under-21 coach, obviously used to be the manager of Wales, is going to have some very, very serious picking up on that one. Just very, very quickly, I'll get into the comments in a minute. Sorry, I know there's comments. Just bear with me 1 second. Thank you for sending comments, by the way. There is one I'm looking forward to answering about that, if you can see it, but just give me 1 second. In terms of what I would have done, because there were a couple of people online saying, "Oh, what would you have done for the first team?" Right. If it was me, I would have played Freddie Woodman. I think that one's fine. I don't think Freddie could have done anything with the goals. I'm happy that he's managed to play at Anfield. Fair play to him. I mean, I know it's not great, but at least he can now always say, "Look, I managed to play at the top end for Liverpool." I mean, look, he's played more matches for Liverpool Football Club than I'm ever going to, so that counts for something, so fair play to him. I would have played Bradley, personally, at right back, and I would have done a swap over at about maybe half time or 60 minutes, where you just bring anyone on from the youth team, basically. I would have gone with Gomez and Endo as your centre backs. I think that's a strong partnership. I still would have played Robertson. Personally, for me in midfield, I know this sounds a bit ridiculous, but just bear with me. I would have played Alexis McAllister, who, I mean, again, yikes. I would have still played Trainioni, and the third one that I would have played is Florian Wirtz. And the reason being is he needs to find some form, and he needs to find it very, very quickly. And the other reason is, I mean, there's been he was dropped for, what was it, two matches, 3 matches? I mean, he's not played that much football the last sort of month compared to the other lads. So I would have just thrown Florian on, to be honest, or at least have him come on in the second half. And then, like I said, personally, I would have still gone with Ingemaer and Chiesa. I think that's correct. And I would have done an alternation with Cody Gakpo and I forgot his name, Hugo Ekitike. So I would have played 45 minutes for one and like 45 minutes for the other, or played one for an hour and then, I don't know, you bring Gackers on for the last 25 minutes and then maybe you start Gakpo fully at the weekend. Something along them lines, because I refuse to believe that, like, highly conditioned athletes, and I get where Arne's coming from, he doesn't want to lose any more of his squad, and I totally get that to an extent. I get where the manager's coming from. I really do. But I mean, surely we could have had either Salah, Ekitike or Gakpo on the bench, surely, for what, 20 minutes? I mean, I'm not expecting them to play a full match, don't get me wrong, but if two of our senior strikers couldn't have managed 15 minutes without either getting injured or exhausting themselves, I would probably politely suggest there's something very wrong with our training methodology, because that should just not be the case. Like I said, if I would have brought, let's say, Mo Salah on, if for some reason it went 2-1 to Liverpool, I would have brought Mo on for the last 12 minutes, give it a go, and then if you lose, you lose. And Mo Salah's played, I don't know, 12 minutes of football. It's not going to kill him at the end of the day. Job done. Also, I never want to play Crystal Palace ever again, by the way. Yeah. And the other very, very funny story. Sorry, let me just have a quick drink. Sorry, guys, again, you know I can't be without the water. My very, very, very quick story, which the subscribers will know about this because I mentioned this the other day. I was initially meant to be going to that match this evening, so I was going to get a hospitality ticket. I think it came on, I think it was seat load to get this £115, and I was actually considering it as well. And it's only because my missus got called into work the other day because a woman that she works with basically has broken her leg in a freak accident. So I know this is really, really horrendous thing to say. Had it not been for that colleague of hers breaking her leg, I would be out. Bearing in mind I need hotel, I need travel. I would now be walking away from Anfield. I've probably just got to the Weatherspoons, give or take. Um, and I'd be out 260 odd quid to have seen that. So yes. I know she's not watching, but she's sleeping. Wife, thank you very much. Anyway, so yes, I know I still would have liked to have gone. But look, it's one of these like funnily enough, when I've been to Anfield, I've never actually seen us lose. I've only been to a couple of ways with Liverpool over the years, but I've never actually seen us lose a competitive football game. I've never seen us lose a friendly. I've never seen us lose a Legends game. So I think they need to offer me a season ticket, to be honest. But I've never actually seen us lose, especially not Anfield at all. So maybe I would have been a good luck charm. But yes, that would, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, guys, be patient. Let me just get to the comments. You get it. Where did I get to? I'd rather talk about WWE than Liverpool at the minute. At the moment. Well, Finn, you're in luck. So I'm going to talk about WWE randomly in a second. So anyone who doesn't like wrestling, in about 2 minutes, you can log off and go and get drunk or whatever you need to do after that. But I've got some news about watching WWE Finn at the weekend. So just bear with me a second, Phil. Looks like Arna doesn't have the same connection as Klopp. Well, no, I mean, to be honest, Traveller Link, you're going to be struggling to get that connection with any football manager, with any fan. But I mean, obviously, for your team, Sir Alex always had it. Kevin Keegan had it back in the day with Newcastle. Arsene Wenger at the start had it with the Arsenal fans. Obviously, Jose Mourinho and Chelsea was a huge bond between the clubs. The club and the manager. Obviously, some of the Italian teams as well have always had like passionate managers like Arrigo Sacchi and people like that. So, but you're going to struggle to find any sort of connection that Liverpool fans had like they had with Jurgen Klopp. I mean, he was just the man, and he got us. And Jurgen Klopp was not perfect, and I think that's why a lot of Liverpool fans liked him, because he didn't profess to be perfect. He got things wrong. He made excuse my language, he made a tit of himself sometimes. He ran on the pitch. He tore the hamstring going up to his arse, like dancing in front of a linesman after we'd beaten Tottenham. Yeah, the guy wasn't perfect, but he was passionate, and I think that's what you could always tell that even when he was angry, you could tell because he didn't put that on. He loved the football club. He still loves the football club now. Yeah, he wanted what was best for Liverpool Football Club, and I'll always thank him for that. So, even if Slot comes back, will he have the same connection in terms of pure, raw, passionate support? Probably not, and I don't think anyone else ever will, to be honest. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. It was good for United finally getting a win. It's literally been years, no comment. Isaac looks unsorted compared to a yeah. I have thoughts on Alexander Isak. I'm not hugely impressed so far. I'm prepared to give the man a chance, but to be honest, and I'm going to say this up front and openly to Liverpool fans, and feel free to disagree with me because quite a few people have. I wasn't especially impressed with the way that he went about his move, and that's all I'm going to say. But like, let me put it this way: I'm old school. I've never refused to come in to do a day's work that I'm contracted for. I'm not going to get into a big debate about it. That's just a personal thing with me. I work literally. Look, I'm not Alexander Isak. I'm not a professional footballer, but like I have turned up to work with sickness, after deaths, after like properly damaging myself to the point where I was on death's door. And it's very rare that I've had a day off in my life. I mean, I've turned up to the point where like I'm literally hobbling in on one leg kind of thing. That I've always made work. So taking everything else aside, with because I know that's how football players have to move, and it's dark arts and this, that, and the other, but that as a working class lad, I did personally for me. Everything else, fine. What's fair is fair, love and war. That not turning up for work is personally to me not acceptable when you're being paid to turn up for work. That's the thing. And in terms of the start, I mean, he's got one goal in the League Cup, and that's basically it. Now, look, Alex Isak is still one of the best strikers in the world, and he's been bought to play for Liverpool for 6 years. He has not been bought for a month and a half or whatever it's been so far. He will be a good player for Liverpool, but at the moment, and the thing I was always worried about with him is his injury record. We've had God knows how many problems with injuries over the last 10, 12, 15 years at Liverpool, and I was always a bit wary about spending that sort of money. And if, look, it's one injury at the end of the day, but I mean, if he keeps breaking down like that, I mean, you are talking financially. The Darwin Núñez thing we've just about got away with, because I think if he does well for the whichever Saudi club he's gone to, I think give or take if he meets certain goal bonuses, I was reading the other day that we might only be out something like 13 million quid in the end, which is, it's not a disaster. But I mean, 30 million quid, still 30 million quid, don't get me wrong, but it's not a complete disaster. If Alexander Isak goes wrong for getting on for 130 million quid, that is a complete fiasco, to say the least. So yeah. But yeah, Vril F. I'm just going to call you Vril. Yeah, talking about LL Paul. Yeah, I saw what you did there. That, my friend, is a Halloween net that was put up earlier by my vaunted wife, and apparently it is literally called a Halloween net. I have no earthly idea what it's actually meant to be. It kind of looks like Spider's thing, and the missus was trying to explain to me what it was, but I kind of did that lad thing where I was like, sorry, I shouldn't say that, but I was just like, yes, dude. But yeah, it's called a Halloween net. Apparently, what it's meant to do other than catch stray flies, I don't know. But like, look, if it makes my boy happy and the missus happy, then I'm happy, basically. To be honest, I still believe Liverpool has more chance of winning the league than Arsenal. No chance, mate. No chance. I just don't see it. Thank you for saying it, but I just do not see it. Brev817, hi hello man, how are you? Hi Brev, you alright? I'm not too bad. I would just like Liverpool to stop losing football matches, because like I usually like doing these live reactions, and I don't like doing it when they lose, which I know is a really childish thing to come out and say, but like obviously I've kind of been doing these for, when did I start doing live reactions? Just over the summer, and obviously the last few years have been great for Liverpool, and I mean, I'd imagine in the last, since we won the European Cup, we've probably won 65% of the games, maybe 70, and losses maybe, I don't know, 20%, 25%, maybe even lower than that. So it's not. I'm used to Liverpool losing from back in the day, because I used to watch them in the 90s. And like I said, folks, if you think this is bad, my goodness, honestly, some of those teams we had in the 1990s, I mean, I don't even have the words to be completely. If you think this is bad, you don't know the half of it. It was horrendous back in the day, utter and complete garbage and dog water, quite honestly. But yeah, no, I'm all right, dude. Other than that, can you shout out Ray Pennybody? Big fan. I can, Bridget. Sorry, Bridge Little 722. Yeah, shout out Ray Pennybody. Cool, nice one. Yeah, hi. Brev, if I'm being honest, we're doing so poor, man. Slot is really taking his time. I'd say, Brev, to be honest, that this weekend is. I'd take a point now if I was offered, but I am not like I should probably explain this. I'm like a stress and anxiety sufferer, so I take medication and stuff. I'm like, "Ooh," and this, that, and the other. It's fine. It's cool. Used to it. Been doing it for a number of years. Because of that condition, I'm not the most positive human being at times in the world. So quite happy in myself at the minute, but in terms of Liverpool, when I see us losing and losing and losing, basically it goes into my brain that we are never going to win a football match ever again in the history of the world, and we're going to get relegated, and that we'll end up in the Conference North or something, which obviously I know that's not going to happen, but yeah, like I said, I'm just not a positive guy, mate, unfortunately. I mean, like I said, I would take a point, but to be quite honest, I think Liverpool really need to win this weekend, and it's going to be hugely difficult. I mean, if they beat Villa, you're talking it's 1-0 or 2-1, and it's going to be nerve shredding, and it's going to be horrible. It's going to be it might be a fun game of football for people to watch, but I think this could be a horrendous experience coming up this Saturday. Fortunately, thank Christ, I am at a mate's 40th birthday party. Now, don't think there's a football screen. Thank God. So, yes, I will be periodically basically running in and out of this lad's 40th birthday, and I will be checking the scores. In fact, I might even just avoid the scores completely until I've got home. Except I can't do that because I'm surrounded by Newcastle fans, Leeds fans, and who else is going? Possibly a Sunderland fan as well. So they'll all be sat there waving their phones, I'm sure, in my face. But yes, anyway. But yeah, no. In all seriousness, I think they've got to win this weekend. If you lose to Villa and then you're left with Manchester City and Real Madrid, I mean, where's your result coming from? I mean, if you lose to Villa and then lose to Madrid, I mean, what bloody chance have they got of getting anything from Manchester City? I mean, look, Manchester City aren't exactly watertight themselves at the minute, but I mean, they're what, 6, 7 points ahead of us now. So yeah, I mean, it could be a cricket score if we're not careful, basically. Finn does WWE. When was the last time we beat Palace? I genuinely can't remember. Give me a second. If you listen on YouTube podcast, if you wonder why it's gone quiet, I'm trying to work out when the last time was we beat Crystal Palace. What I can tell you, it was October 2024 when, God rest his soul, Diogo Jota scored the winning goal at Selhurst Park. That was the last time we won. So yeah, again, God bless you, my friend. Yeah, that was the last time that we beat them. It was 1-0. I mean, that game as well, I mean, literally Palace were all over us. I mean, these results against Palace have been coming for a long, long time. I mean, there was the one season before when Harvey Elliott did the Dragon Ball Z. I was trying to do like, you know what I was trying to do, the Harvey Elliott celebration, but it just looked shit when I did it. Yeah, it was when Harvey Elliott scored in the 91st minute, I want to say. And I think that season, that was the season when bloody, I think it was Eze scored at the Cop End after about 7 minutes. That was the day that we basically lost the title before we ended up losing 2-0 to Everton, that like horrendous 8-day period that ended with Mo Salah and Jurgen having that argument at West Ham Stadium. So yeah, this has been coming for a long, long time. So yeah, I don't know. When was the last time we beat Palace? Yeah, that I've just answered that, haven't I? I subbed to. Oh, thanks very much, Brev. That's very, very kind of you, sir. Cheers. Thank you very much. Beb. I'm just going to call you Beb because I can't read your name, dude. I'm really sorry. Hi, sir. Hiya. I hated the way Isaac Babies went into the club from the club. He was actually great. Yeah, no, like I said, Finn, to be honest, my thing with Alexander Isak isn't necessarily the behaviour, because look, it goes on at all football clubs now. I don't agree with it. I think it's outrageous, to be honest. The way they treat the fans is outrageous. The way that these agents behave is outrageous. The way the clubs are talking to other managers when there's a manager actually in the chair at the time, I think is disgusting, to be quite honest. I know they have to do it for various reasons, and Like the situation at Forest. I mean, I know there's a lot of people here who won't like Andrew Postecoglou because of the comments that he's made about Liverpool and this, that, and the other. But I mean, with the greatest respect, I mean, what is the man meant to do with what a month in charge of a football club? I mean, is that where we've gone to now? I think it's bloody ridiculous. Now, look, if Postecoglou, I don't know how we've gotten to him, but let's say if he had 3 months and he lost every single game, that I can understand because obviously that's just incompetence. You can't have that. But like, it's like, what are you expecting the man to do with 6 games of football? I mean, it's just absolutely ludicrous as far as looks. So look, I get that's where modern football is and power to the players and all this stuff. Blah blah blah. My main thing, to be honest, Finn, is like I said, I found it very insulting as a working class lad. So I come from a working class family, and we also poor or anything like that. But I mean, times are hard, like it is for everyone else, and we have to scrimp and save to, um, like loads of people, like some people in the channel might be, just to keep what we have and keep a roof over our heads, and we've got to work bloody hard for it, and that's fine. Don't mind working on. Um, and when I read about someone who's being paid, I mean, I don't know how much Alex Eager that was on, but I would probably suggest it was maybe 200 grand a week. I don't know how much he's on at Liverpool. Refusing to turn up for a day's worth of work that he's contracted to do. Personally, I found as a working class lad, take Liverpool aside, and I say this for any walk of life, I found it quite insulting. I get people, I've had time off from work because of mental health reasons and stuff, and there's people who would disagree with that as well, but I totally get that, and that's fine. Sometimes you can't, you need to like get away from something in order to get yourself right and this, that, and the other. But when you have no excuse not to show up for work and to demand to leave a football club that you're being paid handsomely to play for, I didn't agree with it at all, and I think it's absolutely disgusting. But that's just me. Champion at working class as well. Let me have a look. God, I'm really sorry, folks, but my eyesight is just dreadful. I do apologise. Is that an Arsenal badge I can see? I'm just going to call you 4473. 4473 AJ. I think you've been on for, haven't you, mate? I think Liverpool is the new man. Yeah, oh, God, my God. No, thank you, 4473, crikey. We're not quite that, but well, mind you, they beat us as well, didn't they? So I can't really complain at the minute. Brev, no, but if I'm honest, I think this is the worst season I've seen in my life since I'm young. Yeah, I was going to say, Brev, to be honest, like I said, I'm very old, probably compared to all you guys, but like I said, when I was at school, my life was basically made of misery by Manchester United, which Traveller will may be aware of. Basically, when I was at school, Man United won the league in 90. Let me try and work it out. 93, 94. They finished second to Blackburn in 95, and then just as I was leaving school in 96, they won the league and also beat us in the FA Cup final in the last minute. That was my life at school. It was a bloody misery, and I've hated them for years since, basically. But yeah, no, it was an absolute misery, mate, unfortunately, because, I mean, at that time, Liverpool we won the League Cup. This is going way back now. We won the League Cup in 1995, which back in the day, like, people would come up to you. I used to live in Derby, basically. People would come up to you like you were the bloody King of England, like, rubbing your shoulders and stuff and saying, what does it feel like? And I was just like, it's fine. Cheers, dude. Yeah, it used to be a big thing back in the day if you won the League Cup. Like, people would be like, buying you pints in town and this, that, and the other. And then we didn't actually win another trophy for 6 years, I think it was. So I'd gone from 15 years old, and it was 21 by the time we won our next trophy, and that was the season we won our fake treble, which apparently people still bring up to these days, and it's just like, well, I'm glad you can't count because I certainly can. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Liverpool meant to start the main players. I just think, to be honest, 4473. I will learn your name, by the way. Like I said, I don't think Arna had a choice in himself. But, I mean, the other thing that I didn't mention, I did have this on my thing to say to you guys, but let's say hypothetically, for argument's sake, Arna had said, right, you lot, I want a bloody win. It's full strength side, it's full strength squad. Go out there, crack on, and get me a result. What happens if Liverpool lose 3-0 with the full strength squad going into Villa and they've all played 90 minutes? See, with this, he's kind of got the built-in excuse. It's like, well, why did you lose to like Arna? Because he can just be like, well, I mean, what do you expect me to do, kind of thing. So he did kind of. I wouldn't say he's done it on purpose to protect himself, but I'm sure. Look, Arne Slot is a very, very highly intelligent, articulate, and clever bloke. I'm not saying he's done this deliberately, but I'm sure it will have crossed his mind that in terms of reporting, is this going to get much? I mean, look, all Liverpool losses get mass media coverage, obviously, but is this going to get as much coverage as us losing to Man United 2 weeks ago? And the answer is no, not really. Like, I don't think. I mean, there's Liverpool fans who weren't asked about this tonight. I mean, because I had something else going on this evening, I wouldn't say I wasn't asked. I'm not pleased that we didn't win, but I'm kind of like, it's not the worst thing in the world either. So I think what I'm getting at is I think Arna's basically cultivated the situation to give it as little, basically as damage limitation is what I'm getting at. And like, he can come out and, like I said, well, at the end of the day, I've got a squad full of like 17-year-old players playing against grown men. Crystal Palace, who are one of the best teams in the Premier League this season, not a lot I can do. I've got 8 players out injured, because don't forget, I mean, Jadon Dans and Bajcetic are injured as well. And you're talking the injury list, if you include Denzel's weight. He's like, look, if I've got the full strength side, then I can do some bits and bats, but there's generally nothing else I could have done this evening. So, has he done it for protection of himself? Maybe, but that protection, as I say, goes out the window if they lose to Villa. And I mean, my worry is if they get walloped by Villa going into Man City and Real Madrid. I mean, that is very, 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 very serious at that point. So yeah. Rev, the LFC owners are 100% trusted by Arnold. I think they will, but I don't. To be honest, I don't think. Look, I don't think John Henry's going to be like doing cartwheels in his box at Fenway in Boston by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think Mr. Gordon and Mr. Edwards are going to be hugely impressed either. Looking at what they've been through as owners, I don't even think this would be registering as a top 10 fiasco. To be honest, I think Liverpool usually can trust the process. That wretched phrase, trust the process. Ooh. But the fact it's even now a question is concerning, I have to say. Let's have a look. Thomas, hi Thomas, you all right? Yeah, nice to have you on, dude. Who do you think we should sign in January? Right, Thomas, well, I have a list for you. Right. I know this is going to sound incredibly stupid, but just bear with me. FSG, Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, Arne Slot all need to admit what they've done defensively was completely stupid, and they need to go and sign 3 central defenders. I didn't say 2, I didn't say 1. They need 3. So I would. I mean, I say this, but I mean, who's available for defensive? But frankly, I would just go to Crystal Palace and just say, look, I know he's going in 4 months. Here's 28 million quid for Mark Gay. And before anyone says, oh, well, there's no point in getting him for free, we are not going to get Mark Gay for free if we're not in the Champions League. This is now the issue. This season could very much turn to damage limitation, i.e., by January we're out of everything. All we've got is the Champions League qualification to play for. And to be honest, with the amount of teams that are going for that now, I think Bournemouth have got a very good chance. I could see Crystal Palace really pushing for it, and that's before your traditional Newcastle, Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal, Villa are right up there now as well. Tottenham have come back now, unfortunately. So getting Champions League, and this is top 5, it is going to be difficult, as it bloody is. So I would just go to Palace and say, look, here's 30 million quid for Mark Gay. We should have just signed him in the first place. Except you've made a mistake. Crack on. Get on with it. I would also get. Let me try and think. I really love Ezra Konza, but I mean, again, if I'm Villa, if it's like, hey, can we buy Ezra Konza, please? They'll be like, yeah, if you've got 75 million quid, which obviously we can't afford that itself. So, do you go abroad? Do you have a look at Saudi? I mean, I'm Rick Laporte was available this summer, and I was livid about that because he's ended up going to, I think it's Bilbao or something like that, and he was available on the free transfer, and I'm literally sat there going, right, I'm not saying I'm Rick Laporte is the answer, but at the end of the day, he's a French international that's played in the World Cup. I think he was in the World Cup team or the squad, I forget, multiple time um, Premier League winner with Manchester City. Free transfer? I mean, that's like, come on. I mean, seriously. And then I would be looking to get a. I'd be looking to get a loan player in as well, and just say, right, you are here for 6 months. So, I mean, the only thing I could possibly think of is Chelsea have a boatload of players that they never play. Maybe there's someone that you could sign from there. You've got the lads who plays for Brentford, right? You guys are all younger than me. Not Seth Vanderberg, and he's the English centre back that plays for Brentford that isn't Ben Mee because Ben Bean's no longer there. I forget what his name is, but he's really good, and I've forgotten what his name is. If you know what his name is, let me know in the comments. Short of that, I mean, who's going to sell to us? I mean, this is the problem now. I mean, who do you go to? I like the look of that lad from Dortmund. Again, let us know in the comments. I can't pronounce his name. It sounds very like. In fact, tell you what, let me just have a look. Because we were linked with this lad from Borussia Dortmund not too long ago. And his name is, if I can even find it. That's it. Excuse my Brummie pronunciation. Nico Schlotterbeck. Nico Schlotterbeck, is that right? I've seen him play before and I was quite impressed with him. So if he's available, and I don't think he's out of contract, but I think he's like down to his last year at the start of next season or something like that. Again, if I'm Liverpool, right, if you've got 50 million quid, just throw it at him. And then if we're struggling for money, I mean, I don't really know who else you could sell. Maybe you can get rid of a couple of the younger players, which I feel sorry for. I mean, maybe you could sell Bacetic, which is really harsh, obviously, because he's just come back. I wouldn't want us to sell Rio YNWA. I'd be absolutely livid. I do not want us to sell Federico Chiesa with the form that Mo Salah's in. I mean, obviously, there's the nuclear option with Mo Salah. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but obviously Saudi are going to come in again in January because they always do. But other than that, I mean, I don't know who you can actually sell. I mean, I suppose you could sell Joe Gomez if you bought 3 centre backs in. Maybe. Honestly, I don't know. But for me, to answer your question, Thomas, I would say a minimum of 2 centre backs at bare minimum. Ideally for me, that needs to be 3 because it was a huge mistake by the club. And the transfer committee, whatever you want to call it, it was hugely irresponsible and bloody ridiculous in my mind. I don't think we need any more strikers, any more wingers. In saying that, though, as most subscribers will know, I'm a supporter of this country, Ghana. I really want to sign Antoine Semenyo, and I know I'm incredibly biased, but honestly, trust me, for a Ghanaian, if you've not seen Semenyo, I'm sure you have, obviously, because he's played against us. Like, guys, like, I watch Ghana play virtually every single match. This lad is brilliant. He is absolutely brilliant. Is he the replacement for Salah long term? Maybe, but I mean, again, how much does Antoine Semenyo cost now? You're talking 75 million quid. So I want 3 defenders in Antoine Semenyo. I've just spent another 200 quid. do we even have the money after what we've done with Alexander Isak? And now, do we look a bit stupid for signing Isak as opposed to two central defender? I don't know. I really do not know. Hopefully, everything will come together. I'd say if it's going to come together now, it's going to be next season. You get Leone back. You've signed Gay, for example. Maybe you've got like an Ezra Konza or something like that. Who knows? Whatever defensive partnership. Maybe Salah's picked up again. Wirtz has had a season in English football. Alexander Isak's fully settled on Merseyside. I'd say it's more possible that the team are going to go for next season. I think this season, I'm not going to say a write-off, but I just think it's going to be quite difficult now, personally. Swig of water again. Let me just have a look. So, yes, sorry, Thomas, to fully answer your question. 3 defenders, and if we could sign Anton Semenyo, brilliant. I know a lot of people are saying DMs. For me, I think Sobbo can do DM if necessary. I think Endo has never let us down. Obviously, I don't really want Endo playing 7 or 8 games on the bounce, starting midfield, obviously, but I just think there's bits and pieces that you could do with Graven, but I just think defender is more important than a backup DM for me at the minute, but please feel free to disagree. What would you say about people criticising Wirtz and Isak? To be honest, Brev, at the minute, I mean, I can defend them. Can I defend them based on what I've seen and what they're contributing? Probably not, to be honest. I mean, I don't think Alexander Isak has been very good since he's been in the club, but I think there's reasons for that. Obviously, he's had the injury as well. He's had no pre-season, yada, yada, yada. And I think there's reasons for Isak, but he's been worse. I think Wirtz has been better, but there are less reasons for him not to be as good, if that makes a lick of sense, basically. So, I don't think either of them have been brilliant, to be honest. I think that they need to have a very, very good second half of the season, both of them. If it went into next season and neither of them have produced a lot, I think there's going to be serious questions asked about the transfers, which is, I mean, if you go back to the summer, I mean, we were literally all celebrating. I mean, we had the parade, we won the title, obviously we had the tragedy of Diogo getting God rest his soul. But obviously we were quite happy as a fan base, other than that horrendous, awful tragedy. And we'd signed Frimpong, Kirkes, obviously we'd already got Mamadashvili, Florian Wirtz, obviously Ekatike and Isak. And we were all sat there going, this is bloody brilliant. I mean, people were saying we were a steamroll the league. I still thought it was going to be difficult, but I didn't think it was going to be anything like this. I mean, yeah, and I agree with Ekatike as well. In my opinion, Brevi's been our best player this season by an absolute country mile. In fact, this is the problem with Liverpool. How many players would any of you guys say have played well this season? I've got Alisson, Szoboszlai, Ekatike, and Federico Chiesa, and half Ryan Gravenberch. I've got to be honest, I disagree with the Virgil van Dijk shout. I think he was really good for 4 matches out of the first 6. I mean, after the Everton game, I'm sorry, I don't think he's been very good at all. I really don't. I mean, the Brentford match was hideous, to be honest. I mean, dreadful performance. So, yeah, this is the problem. If you're talking, there's 5 players that have played well for Liverpool out of a squad that have played of, how many players will have played for Liverpool now? What, about 25, 26? I mean, that is, obviously, it's a bit of a recipe for disaster. So, FTK is cooking. Yes, no, I agree. Diaz, Nunes, Trent's visions, Elliot's impacts, and obviously Jota. Come on, lads, what teammate going to miss that time? Yeah, good point, Chris Connor. No, I completely agree with that, Chris. Completely, utterly agree. I was mortified when we sold Harvey Elliott. It's not just me saying this reactively. Harvey Elliott was one of my favourite players. I thought he was superb. Did he play well for Liverpool in every single match? No, of course he didn't. No one plays well in every single match, but I always thought he was positive. I always thought whenever he came on, I mean, the amount of times he came on and changed the game for Liverpool, people with selective memories of saying, wasn't that many. I mean, if you look back, it was quite a bit. I thought his touch was fantastic. I thought his passing range was brilliant, and he always worked his backside off for that club. I mean, out of all of those names, I mean, obviously, God rest his soul. Yet again, I can't keep expressing that enough. Losing Diogo was horrendous for them, and frankly, quite more important than all this crap that we're talking about now. But from a practical point of view, we've lost one of the best strikers in the league, as well as an absolute legend of the football club, which is secondary, obviously, but it is a consideration. I definitely wouldn't say Darwin for me. I just think I didn't think Darwin was as bad as a lot of people made out. I just don't think he was ever going to make it for Liverpool, personally, not in my opinion. Luis Diaz, again, not as much as Harvey Elliott, but I didn't really understand. I mean, I never really understood the stick that he got, to be honest, because it was just like, if you look at his stats for the time he was at Liverpool, it's not like he was crap or anything. I mean, he was. I don't know, the Luis Diaz one, it depends what camp you fall in. Personally, I thought he was a very good player for Liverpool Football Club. When you look what he's doing for Bayern Munich now, he's tearing it up. I mean, is it a weaker league? Yes, obviously, but I think Lucha has a very good chance to win the European Cup this year. I mean, ultimately, I probably think it's between PSG, Arsenal, and maybe Manchester City a push, but I certainly think Bayern have got a chance, and Lucha's part of that. So I didn't agree with him selling him as well. And I mean, obviously, we've got to give these new players a new chance. I mean, put it this way, if things go really, really difficult for Liverpool this season, not to the point where we're in trouble of getting bloody relegated or anything stupid like that, obviously, but like if we get to say February, and let's say, I mean, hopefully we're not, but let's say we're out of everything at that point and we are miles off even the Champions League players. If I'm Arna at that point, I'm saying, right, look, we are now playing for next season. So Melos and Jeremy Frimpong, you are my flying fullbacks. Ebu, we're not offering you a new contract, which I hope is not the case, obviously, but it doesn't look great, to be honest. Verge, we will have you play with Joe, and then next season you're going to be playing with X, Y, and Z. Hopefully there'll be a couple of centre-backs as well. Florian Wirtz, you are my number 10. Everything goes through you, and that's the way we're going to play. And Alexander Isak and Ekatike, you are my duo for the future. Mo, you're still a brilliant player, but we're going to start phasing you out. You're going to be coming off the bench, and if you don't like it, you can go in the summer. I would just say, right, this is the new team. This is what we're cracking off with, and just go from there. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I can't even picture the next time Liverpool win, to be honest. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Finn does WWE. What's my red card for? Was that for Nala? Right, Brev, this is me. Yes, dude, same thing from me, same thing. Let's, oh God, sorry. Abdu Saeed, sup from Egypt. Hi, Abdu, you alright? Good luck for the African nations. Sadly, my Ghanaian Black Stars will not be there because we didn't actually qualify for the bloody thing, sadly. But we are going to the World Cup finals. Oh, speaking of which, cheap plug. I'm going to be doing like a live, you know, when they do the World Cup draw, I'm going to do like a live World Cup draw, but for like Ghana. So I think it's on December the 6th. I know a lot of you won't be Ghanaians, obviously, but if you just want to come and watch in general, that's fine, and just see who gets who in the World Cup. For obvious reasons, I would prefer that Ghana did not get England because my life would become somewhat awkward in my own house, to say the least. But yeah, you know it's going to happen. Let's have a look. Chris Connor again. Salah misses Trent's assist. Virgil is an Asian warrior, and Kanata. I'll tell my son about that tomorrow because he likes Roblox. And what's that thing? Is it called? Sorry, this is because I'm such an old man. My son calls them Robux. Is that right? Is that how one pronounces it when they get the money? I don't know. I've seen like these block figures that he's running around with, and I'm just like, I don't know what you're doing, but still. Um, we will bounce back in January. It's going to be painful until then, but we'll be out of everything by then. Well, Chris, to be honest, this is kind of what I mean, mate. Say if we've gone out of. Obviously, the last thing we can go out of is the Champions League if we qualify. But however, if we lose to Madrid, I mean, obviously we've got PSV Eindhoven next. I mean, one would hope we would be beating PSV Eindhoven, but like I said, at the minute, I can't imagine beating Liverpool beating anyone. I mean, I was astonished to beat Frankfurt last week. I mean, the only thing I can suggest with Frankfurt is they must have been out on the bloody lash for 3 or 4 days before playing us, honestly. Um, yeah, no, I mean, honestly, man, I don't know. I don't know. But I do agree with the January thing. Like I was just saying a minute ago, mate, to be honest, if let's say we didn't qualify for the Champions League, if we finished in the bottom eight, which would just be absurd to be honest, and if we've gone out the FA Cup, no chance in the league, and then miles off qualifying for the Champions League. Obviously, as long as we've got 40 points or whatever, which is I can't believe I'm even saying that. I would just use the rest of the season and say, right, look, this is our team. This is who's going to play for me next season. And we work and train, and do whatever it is we need to be back for next season, and then just see where we end up. But I think Liverpool are now in a position that they could struggle to get to qualify for the Champions League. Like I said, I've already given up on the league. The league's gone. I'm more at the stage of congratulations to Arsenal. I don't see anyone stopping Arsenal now. I just don't think City are consistent enough. And I mean, if you look, to be honest, it's not like I like praising Arsenal, but you have to be honest and say they're the best team in the league. And I think they're probably the best team in Europe other than Paris Saint-Germain. And in my opinion, much better than Manchester City. Although I did think the other day, you know, Sunderland are in second place, and you probably know where I'm going with this. Can you imagine, like, peak rage off the Richter scale if Arsenal thought they'd won the league and they're beating us, City, Chelsea, and are comfortably ahead of all of them, and just creeping up behind them and overtaking them is a smiling Granit Xhaka who's lifting the trophy for Sunderland. Look, obviously that's not going to happen, but I have highly amused myself with that. I mean, Arsenal fan TV. I mean, Jesus Christ, I don't think you would have heard an eruption like it in your life. It would be like this bloody seismic thing. It'd be like when it'd be like that thing where Thanos got the bloody Infinity Stones. If you're like a comic book person like me, and like that thing that went. Yeah, it would be insane. But look, that won't happen, obviously. But like I said, I think Arsenal will comfortably win the league now. We won it by 10 points last season. I can see Arsenal winning it by 11 or 12. The only issue that I have with Arsenal is that they might get a bit of vertigo, because obviously a lot of those players have never won the league before. So I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what I was talking about Arsenal for. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought completely now. You have a nice cup, the LFC one. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. This is my favourite, bruv. I've actually got 2 or 3. I've got one upstairs. I've got one of those, you know, those metallic thingies that you get when that like people use for training and stuff. I use that for the walls sometimes. Also sometimes for whiskey, which I was very tempted to have some after that bloody result. But I can't keep drinking whenever Liverpool lose, because I will lose the house that I'm in at the minute. I have a good memory. To be honest, Brad, the only thing, because like I said, I've suffer with anxiety and stress and like weird conditions that I've got. The only thing that I can remember are Liverpool results. Like, if you ask me what 2 add 2 is, you're getting 7, basically. Can't drive, can't particularly spell. My spelling, grammar, and punctuation is atrocious. Yeah, there's loads of stuff that I'm not good at. But if you throw some random scoreline out to me, I could probably just about tell you who scored for Liverpool in 1992, and I can remember Liverpool stuff, and I can remember pro wrestling matches, which are not generally very useful for lines of work. Hopefully there will be in this instance one day. Who knows? Um, but yeah, yes, no, my memory in general, mate, is absolutely atrocious. But thank you for saying that, dude. Let's have a look. Hey, Mr. Cole, welcome back, fella. How are you doing? Hey, I'm back. How are you doing after that loss? Didn't think we were going to win anyways, but hope you're well. Mr. Corred, to be honest, mate, to be honest, I find this very difficult to think about, to be honest, because like as soon as I saw the team, I mean, I just turned around and I was just like, well, we've lost. And my missus is always like, yeah, I'm the negative one, she's the positive one. Well, you know, if you believe in God, 'cause she's religious and I'm not religious. We have a very, very funny household that I live in, but like, it's like, the power of the Lord will get you through, and you could always be positive, chicken, and all these things will work out. And I'm just like, yeah, no, love, we're going to lose. Simple as that, no chance. And I was right. So, yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know, dude. I'm lagging. Oh, sorry, Brev. Am I still lagging now? Speaking of lagging, folks, I'm probably going to head off shortly in a minute. 4473, LFC should give Chiesa more playing time. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, no, for me, I would start Chiesa over Salah at the minute. I think there's a load of people having to go at Chiesa tonight, and it's like, guys, what do you expect him to do? He's surrounded by like a lad that's made his debut, a lad that's not played for the club in what 3.5 bloody years, two centre backs who one of which is never fit and the other one is an actual left back. A 19-year-old lad that's played 4 senior games for Liverpool, an Argentinian World Cup winner who has forgotten how to pass. Yeah, I mean, what do you expect the bloke to do with that at the end of the day? But yeah, no, I completely agree. I would start Chiesa for me. I mean, I love the song as well, but yeah, like I said, I think Chiesa's been our third best player this season. I honestly do. If you look at his track record and what he's done with the minutes that he's had, when he's been surrounded by good players, he's done very, very well. But I mean, again, I have to counter people that say he did crap tonight. What do you expect him to do with that sort of support and lineup? Are Liverpool going to be safe this season? I nearly read it again. My friend. You nearly got me that time. I'll just call you HF. Do you know what, HF, to be honest? If Liverpool Football Club got relegated, I would still support them to the ends of the earth. Simple as that. Not a glorious supporter. And yeah, I would still support them evermore. That's just me. Mr. Red, such a shame Nalo got sent off again. I was actually wondering if I was dude, like I said, I spoke about this earlier, Red, when you were, I don't think you were on at the time, but I think Rob Page, obviously our under 21s manager, I think Nalo plays under him. He's got a hell of a week coming up with that lad, because I think I don't want to go about Ahmed Nalo's mental health, because obviously it's none of my business, but I mean, obviously I've always dreamed of playing for Liverpool, and obviously, look, I can't now. I'm a 45-year-old and I'm a big fat man, so like the chances of me playing for Liverpool Football Club are relatively slim at this point, I would have thought. But for, what is he, an 18, 19-year-old lad to play for a football club that you've dreamt of playing for years, and to have 2 starts that last, what, 15, 20 minutes between them with 2 red cards? Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. It's going to be difficult for him, and can he recover that and do well with Liverpool? I mean, obviously he's given himself a huge mountain, but I'm not ruling him out. But I mean, if you slot, are you going to trust Nallo to deputise for Canate or Van Dijk? I would probably politely suggest not at the minute. Good evening from Manny. Hello, SP. Cassie, what are you waffling? What are you waffling about? Liverpool Football Club. Thank you for asking. Your Ghanaian and our rival just got more into. 4473. You have got to be kidding me. Are you seriously joking? An Arsenal fan in the bloody night. God almighty. Those two goals Nigeria scored against Ghana, I mean, some were both offside, by the way. No, they weren't. No. No, but honestly, I went to. Did you go to the Brentford match? Brentford match. Did you go to the Ghana Nigeria game at Brentford? I was in the Ghanaian end, obviously. In the first half, like, I know it was only a friendly, but I mean, Nigeria, mate, honestly, if you didn't go, Nigeria could have been 4 or 5 nil up at half time. I mean, the Ghanaians looked like they'd been out on the lash in London the night before, mate, to be honest. And then obviously Ghana came back into it because I forgot his name, Ashanti Akoto. That's not his second hyphen name, is it? But the lad that plays for Coventry City, I've only seen him a couple of times. He scored, and then obviously the Ghanaian end went mental, and then I think Ghana had this chance where one of our players went running through, and I think he actually put the ball over the stand. So yeah. Nigerian Arsenal, eh? Good. Well, 4473. Will say this. I actually do have a Ghana playlist on this channel. Let me put it this way: you might see something very interesting on Friday. At about 8 o'clock, and I'll just leave it at that. You might not think it's the most amusing thing, but I thought it was very amusing at the time, and I'll just leave it with that. Let's have a look. How did you feel after losing Diogo? Oh, dude, thanks for asking. Like I said, I was kind of struggling with my mental health at the time before that because I'd been to obviously the parade, and then there was the attack on Water Street during the Liverpool parade by that. Excuse me. I just said something rhyming with Rooking Farce Roll, who did the thing that he did on Water Street, so we were all panicked about that, and then obviously we heard about Diogo about a month later, and I'll be completely honest, 4473, I spent the day in bed crying. My missus was at work at the time, and I was actually off work, so like I said, I've had this thing going on myself, and it hit me like a sledgehammer for about a week. I felt, I'm not just saying this to get likes and subscribe. I'm honest, lad. I'm just being honest with you. It felt as if I'd lost a family member, and I know a lot of us did feel like that. I recently went to Wolverhampton Wanderers to see their mural of Diogo as well. I mean, that was a month ago, and I ended up crying because it was on basically where the mural is. It's next to this boozer called the Leaping Wolf. So you get all these fellas who were wandering in for a pint after work, and my Midlands accent, what's that lad doing over there? And there's literally me, and I'm just sat there like this, like crying away, and then just like, who knows? I'm going for a pint anyway. Yeah, no, honestly, I was devastated. I went to the Bilbao game. So when we had a double header against Athletic Bilbao, so it's the last time I saw Liverpool. We had one game at 5 and one game at 8. And I'd signed a shirt, not signed a shirt, but written a message on it, an old Liverpool shirt, like a Diogo one, put it on the flower beds that we all had at the time, obviously when Diogo and Andre had passed, and not religious, but kind of said something, whatever it was. And I'd actually written him a letter, as what I know it's really stupid because obviously the fella can't read it, but I don't know, it just felt as if I needed to leave something there. I signed his wall as well before I left. Was that the second time? Yeah, it was the day after. So basically what happened was I got through the game, enjoyed being at Anfield because I always loved being there. Got to see 2 games of football, which was very, very cool. Was left unsupervised in Liverpool, which is Boss City. Met a few Scousers. Had like probably about 3 bottles of wine in about 4 hours or something like that. Ended up doing a live stream at the Strand at I think it was 1:45 in the morning. Totally drunk, I'm going to be completely honest, but it was like a really, really boss night, as the Scousers would say. And then the next day I went back to Anfield. And I don't know if any of you I'm sure you guys have seen it before, but there's obviously the Diogo mural. So there's one just going out of Anfield. So where you've got the cop, I'm trying to figure because my directions are bloody rubbish basically. But where you've got the cop, basically you go down this street on your left hand side, and you've got the Diogo mural where it's him and Andre Silva, and the other Diogo mural is the one where he's got his back turned and it's the 20. There was this like excavator lift that was there at the time, and it was Merwalls. Shout out to Merwalls. He's the one that does all the artwork for Liverpool and stuff, and he was there at the time, and they had this sort of like giant excavator. You know, one of them platforms that you get on when you're a builder and you're going up and down, up and down, up and down. And they were there at the time, and it was like sheer coincidence that I was actually there. But they had these chalks where they were getting people to sign Diogo, like on the brickwork. And so basically, I raced over, and I was just like, right, I'm not good with heights, but I was literally like, this. I knew straight away. I was like, this is one of these things you've got to do. So I was like, excuse me, can I go on, please? And I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So they put you on like a high vis jacket, you know, for safety reasons and stuff. And then I got up from the raised platform, and I was just stood there with the chalk for about 2 seconds, going, "What the hell do I actually even write?" I can't remember what it was, but I think I just put Diogo, I love you. Rest in peace, 20. And don't start. And basically, I shook Merwall's hand, said my goodbye, and then basically, so where the Diogo mural is, I think the Robbie Fowler one, I don't think it's on the same street. I think it's on the street adjacent to it. I can't quite remember which is on which. Basically, I ended up breaking down at the Robbie Fowler wall, so literally I just knees buckled, and I just ended up crying for like 2 minutes. God knows how many people saw me, and then yeah. So yeah, that was a very long way of saying 4473. It hit me really, really hard, and I genuinely. This is another reason I'm trying not to get on the players' backs too much, because, like I said, they've lost one of the mates at the end of the day, and I know how hard it's hit me, and it's taken me months to recover, like emotionally from it. And like I saw Diogo Jota play once live in the flesh. These people have known him for 4 or 5 years, so I can't imagine how horrendous this is for them. But yeah, no, to answer your question, dude, it was awful. One of the worst days of my life by far. Yeah. What is going on with Liverpool? They're pretty rubbish. Yeah, to be honest. Arsenal. Let me have a look. I'll just say 6923 because I'm getting very tired, and I hope that's not a wind up. But yes, hello. What is your team? Oh, have we got Fenerbahce fans in the house now? What is my team? Liverpool, mate. I don't know why Slot doesn't wear glass. Wow, we've got to that stage. I don't know. I think he needs to have some. I think he needs a bloody stiff bloody glass of sherry, I would have thought at the minute. So Fenerbahce 907. Hello, mate. How you doing? I'm guessing you're a Fenerbahce fan, yes? Oh, not the 6-7 thing again. Oh, dude, seriously. Hi, Lil HJR. Yeah, I said this the other day. My son and missus have tried to explain to me what 6-7 means, and I still keep forgetting. So I'll just say 7-6. I did pass. I don't know. I don't do your people speak, but if it's cool, then great, nice one. Are you a Liverpool fan? Yes, I am. Fenerbahce. I really hope Nalo is okay. That's the most important thing. Well, yeah, dude. Because like I said, at that age, you've got to think. I mean, that's a huge thing to be sent off to. I mean, obviously the PSV one didn't really matter because it was like, oh well, and then people were taking the mick out of him because it was basically like a glorified friendly that. So it's like, oh well, never mind. But this was an actual competitive game at Anfield. I mean, can you imagine being sent off for a club that you've wanted to play for? I'm assuming for several years. I mean, it doesn't even bear thinking about, does it? Bro, what did you think losing to Galatasaray? I was not best pleased, Fenerbahce. I'm just going to keep calling you Fenerbahce. I wasn't hugely impressed. I have to say, I don't know who that tool was that plays for Galatasaray. The one that apparently Dominic Szoboszlai shot with an air rifle, given how ridiculously the man fell to his knees. I mean, seriously, it he should be a Hollywood actor. It was one of the greatest dives I've ever seen in my entire life. Looked like a bloody swan had had its neck broken. Honest to God, it was just like, can you, just out of interest to lads on here, can you imagine if, like, say if you're in the street and, because obviously Dominic obviously like turned around and did that, but it wasn't an actual elbow. Can you imagine if someone did that to you in the street and then, or like you did that to someone in the street and they fell down? You'd just be like, what? Do we get up? Or if someone did it to you, you'd just be like, mate, what do you think you're doing? You wouldn't fall down. So yeah, I wasn't impressed, bro, to say the least. Mystical, same. My mental health isn't too great. Oh, dude, heart goes out to you. Like I said, I struggle with mine. I've struggled with mine for years and years and years. So yeah, like I said, dude, I'm in your camp, dude. I'm in your camp, Mystical Red. When David, I was the same as you, just crying in bed. Yeah, no, I didn't. Then yeah, oh, it's Mystical. Shout out to you, mate. Like honestly, there's no shame in it. I will be completely open and honest and transparent. Yeah, I spent most of the day in bed. My missus had to come back from work. Space where I won't say where we live, obviously, but like she works not a million miles from the house, and she actually had to come back during the shift just to check I was okay. Yeah, shout out to the missus. But yeah, no, it was horrendous. I had to stay away from my son that day because obviously I don't want to be upsetting me lad and this, that, and the other. But I had to explain to him obviously the next day that Daddy will be all right, but like Daddy's just very very upset. But yeah, no, it was horrendous, Mystical Red. So yeah, don't feel any shame in it or anything, dirty. Like so, I cried about Diogo the other day. When did I cry about Diogo? I think I was in Sainsbury's, and it was really weird actually because there was nothing to do with Diogo in Sainsbury's. It just popped into my head, and like I ended up crying, which the checkout girl looked quite confused about. No, not really, but yeah, no, it's horrendous, dude, absolutely horrendous. And I missed you. I would, like I said, I would, if someone said to me, right, instant relegation to the Conference North South or Conference North, and you can bring Diogo and Andre back, I'd press the button immediately. Because, like I said, this doesn't matter in comparison to anything at all, but that man was, and it made it even worse, to be honest, Mystical Red, because he was my favourite. He was possibly my favourite player. One of my favourite players of all time. I love Diogo, and I miss him every single day, man. I miss him every single day. That's all I can say, really. David, do you think Slot getting fired? Oh, David, I hope not. I really hope not, mate. I still can't get behind it just yet because, like I said, first, I'm not being funny, but like, this is a man who's won 2 league titles in 2 different countries in the last 4 years. Won the league title with us in his first season. He got us to a League Cup final, which admittedly we were atrocious in, but still. Won it by 10 points. We signed all these fabulous footballers because of the hard work and effort that Arne Slot's put in. And like I said, I will always love Arne Slot because he gave me the, outside of the birth of my child and meeting my missus and my brother being born and family things, the man gave me the best day of my entire life at a time when I really needed it this year as well. And I find it very difficult as to be so ungrateful not to give the bloke a chance, but obviously if it goes on, I mean, if it went on past sort of January, I mean, I suppose you are in that role. If we lost like 10 games out of, say, the next 11 or 12, is it untenable? Probably. But I mean, then again, last year, look at Pep Guardiola. That was a shambles of a season that they had. So, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, David, to be honest, I really hope not because I love the guy, but like obviously, decision could be taken out of his hands at some point. I don't think just yet, but I think we're still having these troubles in sort of late January. Bearing in mind that's your transfer window time as well. Do you give a manager who I've got faith in even more money to spend? I don't know. But like I said, I've said this before, again, and I'm going to head off, folks, in a minute, I promise, and I'll stop waffling on. But I actually said a while ago, like, who are we getting in? I mean, that's the thing. It's all well and good saying get rid of Slot, and like I actually called someone out on it the other day on Threads, and I put actually in, like block capital letters and replace him with whom. And there was no response. I mean, let's just look at the Premier League. I did this the other day, right? Unai Emery. I wouldn't be adverse, but I think I would be in the minority of Liverpool fans. I do not think that would go down well at all with a lot of the fan base. Eddie Howe, that would not go down well at all. I just don't think that would be a good match either. Oliver Glasner, possibly. Is the step up too big for him? I don't know. And then the only other person that I would be happy with, this is if it was happen, which I don't want it to happen, is I can never say his name right. Andoni Iraola. I hope I pronounced it properly. I think that Bournemouth team are fabulous, basically, and I love. Sorry, I'm just trying to sort it on my computers. I think Bournemouth play fantastic football, and I really, really enjoy the football that Areola's playing because obviously he's good defence, good in attacking. Computer, there we go. And yeah, that's the only one that I would really be satisfied with. If you go abroad, what, Hansi Flick? I mean, I'm not sure about that. And like, why would he leave Barcelona? Obviously, Xavi Alonso, we were going to go for. Is Xavi Alonso going to leave his current employers? I'm guessing not. The manager of Bayern Munich, Manchester City's Vincent Company, I once thought so. The coach with Borussia Dortmund, too early, maybe. And then you're into the realms of some of the international managers who are like mercenaries fire at the minute. Thomas Tuchel, no, not for me. That would be a complete disaster. Postecoglou, no, absolutely not. And then what? Mauricio Pochettino. I actually do like. Personally, I quite like Poch, to be honest, but would that go down well at all at the minute? I would probably suggest not, to be honest. So, yeah, I honestly I don't know who you get if you get rid of Slot, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Salary's so washed when we played Vitamin UCL, we were crazy. I don't think he's washed, David. Obviously, you're entitled to your opinion, mate, but I don't think he's washed. But I agree with you to an extent. But I think this could be the. If he's coming down the slope, he's literally just gone. He's just going down the peak, very slowly at the moment. But I think he's going to start going down that peak dramatically next season. I still hope he can pull it back this season, but we'll have to wait and see. And don't forget as well that I think he's taken the job. I don't want to use it as an excuse, obviously, but that man looked devastated at the start of the season. So yeah, whether that's anything to do with it, I don't know. And obviously, if Mo is struggling as well with his mental health, shout out to Mo Salah. Like, if he needs some time out to go and sort himself out, then Mo, just head on home, go to the African nations early, be with your people. If you need to go back home to Egypt, if you are struggling or whatever, then obviously just please go and get yourself better, mate. You know what I mean? None of us will judge you for it. Green and gold, Southgate in. Oh my god. The meltdown. I love the Scousers. I love Liverpool. It's my favourite city, legitimately my favourite city in England. I'm not just saying it because I'm a Liverpool fan. I love being in Liverpool. I love the vibe and everything. That place would go supersonic mental if that happened. I mean, it would be, yeah, that would be horrendous. Can't see that happening, but we'll have to wait and see. Right, guys. We've been going for 1 hour and 40. Wow. And lots of people have watched randomly, by the looks of it. Thank you everyone for actually watching this funeral procession. Basically, thanks for all the likes and thanks for all the comments. It's really, really appreciated. Shout out to people for being nice to me and everything. And yeah, it does mean a lot with stuff that I've been through this year. And I'm just sorry I can't bring you a bit more joyful stuff on the channel. But yeah, it's pretty rubbish, really, isn't it? So I'm just going to do I'm not going to call it the sales pitch. I'm just going to tell you what I'm up to next. rest of the week. Obviously, subscribers will know this a little bit, but basically, I'll be back on tomorrow. So tomorrow is wrestling night. I'll be talking about AEW, which hopefully Finn will like. Fingers crossed. So yeah, I'll be on about 10:30 tomorrow night. Nice one, Mr. Red. Cheers. Friday is Toy Shorts Friday. So if you don't know, basically, I love all my toys and action figures. In fact, we've got a bit of a weird house actually, so I'll just show you. I won't show you too much of our living room, but if you're wondering what the hell that is, it's my son's Halloween creation. Yeah, like I said, we don't live in the most conventional adult orientated house you've ever seen. It's basically like a glorified Toys R Us, our house basically. The hell, yeah. Thanks for this. I'll be here again, of course. Cheers, Mr. Court. Apparently, it's 11 league wins and 25 for you guys. Crazy start. And I'm not surprised, Green and Gold. It must be because we'd actually started losing a fair bit from the after we lost to Paris Saint Germain. I think we lost to Fulham. We lost to Fulham, Brighton, and Chelsea when we were winning the title, and then obviously we've lost all these this season. And as what the hell? I'm assuming you mean what the hell from the creepy bear. Yeah, that's my lad's creation. And if you were wondering what the Lego stuff is, that's my missus's creation. That's her Jurassic Park. The clown did like already. Yeah, dude, my son made that up. Good parent. I was a bit surprised when I walked in from work one day, and he was like, "Dad," because he's into it. For context, mate, basically, he likes I forget what it's called. The thing with Huggy Wuggy. Jesus Christ, what is it called? Poppy Playtime. So he likes all that stuff. So he likes FNAF, Poppy Playtime. That thing that's been made into a film. That's a horror game that got confirmed yesterday. Something to do with a load of weird avatar people where you can control them, and I mean, my son was telling me about it the other day. God knows what it is. Garden of Banban, is it? What else do I watch with him now? Is it Rainbow Friends? And I think they're all like these horror games. So the amount of times I've sat with them, and obviously because we didn't have this in the 80s, we were watching things like that. Thundercats and Transformers, where no one ever died. And I'm sat there with my son one day, and there's like these FNAF characters are like ripping each other into pieces and stuff, and I'm just sat there going, son, and because I didn't realise what he was playing. Again, very bad parenting. I'm just like, son, yes, daddy, come here, yes, daddy. What the hell is that? He's like, oh, that's Freddy Fazbear ripping someone's torso in half. Right. Okay, is everything all right at school? No, much. Shout out to me, lad. But like, I don't know. It's just really weird. I mean, that sort of thing would have really scared me back in the day. But like, if we, because obviously we didn't have this in the 80s. I mean, the most violent thing we had was Star Wars, pretty much, and that was pretty much your lot. But yeah, you've got these. I don't want to do these kids nowadays, but like, just as a bit of an aside, the kids now, because obviously as my son has his mates over, and they're all sat there playing this. They're all like well adjusted and everything. They're all just like, oh yeah, this person's just been ripped into pieces. Oh look, my sheep on Minecraft's been burnt to death in a lava pit. Oh well, does anyone want a packet of crisps? I'm just sat there going, what the hell is going on here? But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just an old man dude, to be honest. But yes, that's my crazy house. Yeah, hence Geek Boy Meta, basically. Pennywell. I think that's Anas. I think that's the one. He said it was something ways anyway. Yeah. Some of those games are on Roblox. Yeah, he does that Mystical Red as well. Yeah. What was he doing on Roblox the other day? He likes this thing where there's Sorry, I'll stop talking about my son in a minute. But he likes this thing where there's a load of robots characters and they're in a classroom and you've got to earn money to God knows what he was doing, but you've got to earn money to like go up to the teacher and throw something at her, and apparently it's this very popular game with. I haven't got a clue basically, but yeah. Anyway, enough of my son. Honestly, he's a very nice lad. Ignore the horror thing. What was I telling you guys about? Oh yeah, so Toy Shots Friday. So that'll be obviously on Friday. And also to my friend 4478, I hope you tune in on Friday as well because I'm telling the story of Ghana 4, Nigeria 1. Well, you don't have to be Ghanaian to listen to this, but basically, I went to see Ghana versus Nigeria in Brentford, funnily enough, when we just played them this year, in 2007. So I was about 24, 25. Turned up drunk because I used to do that sort of thing in my early 20s. I thought it was a highly good idea. Turned up after about 5 or 6 pints in London. And hopefully you guys will want to watch it, but there are pitch invasions, there's Nigerians challenging the Ghanaian players to fight, there's stewarding fiascos, tickets, barriers not working, Ghanaians trying to drag me onto the pitch to celebrate a goal. Honestly, like it was one of the most insane things I've ever been put through in my entire life, basically. So yeah, that's my vlog on Friday. Right, Saturday, just very quickly, because I know everyone needs to go to bed because I've been on for like, Jesus Christ, I've been on for like nearly 2 hours. Thank you for sticking with me, guys, by the way. Right, Saturday, bit of a problem because, as you guys know, I do wrestling, Comic Cons, Toy Hunts, Pride, horror. I do loads and loads of stuff, Liverpool and football stadiums, blah, 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 blah. And occasionally these things cross over at very inconvenient times. Anyway, so it's my lad's fake birthday where there's going to be more of these horror games being played with a load of kids. Again, don't ask. And then on Saturday night, I'm going to a mate's 40th. Why am I telling you all this? Because that's at the same time as Aston Villa versus Liverpool. Now, obviously, most of you guys know that I do a reaction show after Liverpool have played. I would probably politely suggest it's going to be not the best of ideas for me to do so, having been to a mate's 40th. However, on that night, I'm also meant to be watching WWE Saturday Night's Main Event, which is going to be, I think it's Cody and Drew and, if you know wrestling, CM Punk versus Jey Uso. So I'm going to try and do a live reaction to that. Basically, long story short, the Liverpool live reaction, because I don't know if I'm actually even going to be able to see it because I'm at a mate's 40th, might have to be on the Sunday, basically. So if I can't do it on the Saturday night, basically what I'm saying is I'll do it on the either the Sunday afternoon or the Sunday night, basically. And then what else do I have to tell you? Monday I might be back on with another Liverpool show if I've got time. And then Tuesday, I usually do a Monday Night Raw wrap up. However, this time the wrestling is going to be impeded because guess what we're doing? A week on, well, basically on Tuesday, we are playing Real Madrid Football Club, so there will be a live reaction to Liverpool versus Real Madrid. God help us all. I'm going to be watching that live at the pub, so I might try and do some weird thing at the pub and do live reaction there. If not, I'll do it when I get back. But yeah, that might end up being like 11:30, like midnight, something along those lines. But I'll let you guys know what happens. And yeah, just cool. Thanks everyone for watching. It's been quite good. This we should do this more often, really. Mystical Red, just before I go. Oh yeah, it's called the class presentation. Yes, that's the one. Class presentation. Thank you, Mystical Red. Yeah. Yeah, because you get all these people that keep wandering up and down these aisles, and then one of them threw like a chocolate cake over the teacher's head. It was very, very strange, good stuff. Yeah, folks, it's like 12:30. I think I've been on for nearly 2 hours, or something like that. Yeah, cool, nice one again. Just honestly, guys, seriously, I do mean this. Thank you very much for sticking with me, and thank you for watching. It's nice to chat to all of you. Genuinely lovely people, and just yeah, just thank you very much. It's been really cool doing this year, and channel's growing, and people seem to like what I do. So yeah, it means the world to me. Genuinely, seriously, because I'm just being an honest. I'm an honest lad. I would very much like to do this one day as a job. I hope I can do. I'm not guaranteeing I can do. Not a sales pitch or anything like that. Just genuinely thank you for the support, because I wouldn't be where I'm at without you guys. guys. So yeah, just thank you very much. Anyway, right, I'm off to go and find some beer, and then I'm going to go to bed. So yes, thanks everyone for watching. Cheers again, all of you, and I'll see you tomorrow night for AEW about 10:30. Right, see you later, guys. Up the champions, up the Reds. Thank you, Diogo. See you later, guys. Bye bye.